Hey, boys and girls, welcome back to Mr. Herring's 5th grade math lessons online. Today we are continuing that unit on geometry, learning about quadrilaterals. And I know you guys picked up the notes from the table today. Hopefully you have your journal with you so that you can follow along. If you don't have the notes, remember you can go to the Schoology page and download the notes and print them out so that you can put them in your journal. They should be on page 88 and 89. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with quadrilaterals. All right. So in our notes, I have given you the list of the most common quadrilaterals that we will use in 5th grade. Of course, a quadrilateral is a four-sided figure. It's a polygon with four sides and four angles. That's the only requirement for a shape to be called a quadrilateral. It must have four sides and four angles. And then a square has all sides are congruent and it has four right angles. A rectangle has two pair of parallel sides and then four right angles. A parallelogram has two pair of parallel sides. A rhombus has two pair of parallel sides that are all sides congruent. And then a trapezoid has only one pair of parallel sides. Now, it's important to know that a quadrilateral could have more than one shape. If these are the definitions of the shape, then sometimes multiple shapes meet that criteria. For example, let's look at the square. If I look at the square's definition, a square has to have all sides congruent and it has to have four right angles. Well, could a square also be a rectangle? Well, a rectangle, it just has to have opposite sides are parallel and congruent. So the square, are these two sides opposite each other? Are they parallel? Yes. Are they congruent? Yes. These opposite sides, are they parallel? The answer to that is yes. Are they congruent? The answer to that is yes. So then a square is also a rectangle. Well, is a square possibly a parallelogram? A parallelogram just has to have two pairs of parallel sides. Does this square have two pair of parallel sides? And the answer to that question is yes. So then the square is also a parallelogram. Then let's look at a rhombus. Is a square possibly a rhombus? Well, a rhombus just has two pair of parallel sides and all sides are congruent. Well, two pair of parallel sides, yes, check. And all sides congruent. Congruent, 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 check. So then a rhombus is also a square, or the square is also a rhombus. So then, if I look at a square could potentially have five names: quadrilateral, square, rectangle, parallelogram, and rhombus. You just have to look at the definitions. The only exception to this rule is this little fella right here, a trapezoid. A trapezoid has only one pair of parallel sides. Now, a trapezoid can look like this here. It could also be this guy, where the bottom and the top are parallel. So this is also a trapezoid, okay? So these are the definitions of all the quadrilaterals that we will learn about in 5th grade. So quadrilateral notes. In your notes, you had some fill in the blanks. There are 5 special types of quadrilaterals. You can classify quadrilaterals by their properties such as parallel sides and perpendicular sides. Parallel lines are lines that are always the same distance apart. For example, like railroad tracks. Railroad track, the rails go on forever and they never cross. Perpendicular lines are lines that intersect to form right angles. So when I think of perpendicular, I think of an upside down T. These lines cross and make a right angle. Okay? So these are my lines here. This is my line and this is my line. They intersect at this point right here and they form a right angle. Those are called perpendicular lines. All right. So quadrilaterals, a general quadrilateral has four sides and four angles. Okay. A rectangle is a special parallelogram with four right angles, 1, 2, 3, 4, and four pair of perpendicular sides. A square, however, is a special parallelogram with four congruent sides and four right angles. A parallelogram has opposite sides that are congruent and parallel. So if I look here, 2 tick marks, 2 tick marks, those are opposite and they are congruent to each other. The top and bottom have 1 tick mark each, they're opposite and congruent to each other. So this then is a parallelogram. What is the difference between a parallelogram and a rectangle? This little guy right here, a right angle. A parallelogram does not have to have right angles. A rhombus is a special parallelogram with 4 congruent sides. What else has 4 congruent sides? Yeah, a square. What's the difference between a square and a rhombus? This little fella right here, right angles. A rhombus does not have right angles. And a trapezoid is just a quadrilateral with exactly one pair of parallel sides. This side and this side are parallel to each other. Okay, good. So a rhombus then is sometimes a square. When is it a square? That's right, when it has right angles. Well, a parallelogram is also sometimes a rectangle. When is a parallelogram sometimes a rectangle? Yeah, again, if it has right angles. A rhombus is blank a parallelogram. A rhombus is always a parallelogram because a rhombus has 4 equal sides, so it must have 2 pair of parallel sides. And a trapezoid is never a parallelogram because a trapezoid only has 1 pair of parallel sides. And a square is always a rhombus because a square has to have 4 equal sides. And we're not going to worry about this part. All right. So if I look at these pictures here, number 1, parallelogram, rectangle, a square. Is this a parallelogram? Yes, 2 pair of parallel sides. Is it a rectangle? Yes, 4 right angles and 2 pair of parallel sides. Is it a square? No, it does not have 4 equal sides. Number 2, is it a parallelogram? Yes, 2 pair of parallel sides. Is it a rectangle? No, it does not have right angles. Is it a rhombus? No, it does not have 4 equal sides. Number 3, is it a quadrilateral? Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. Is it a parallelogram? No, it only has 1 pair of parallel sides. Is it a trapezoid? Yes, because it has 1 pair of parallel sides. Number 4, is it a parallelogram? Yes, 2 pair of parallel sides. Is it a rectangle? Yes, 2 pair of parallel sides that are opposite and congruent and 4 right angles. Is it a square? Yes, 4 equal sides and 4 right angles. Number 5, is it a quadrilateral? No, it does not have any parallel sides. Oh, I'm so sorry. Is it a quadrilateral? Yes, of course it's a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides. I apologize. It's not a parallelogram because it does not have 2 pair of parallel sides. It's not a rhombus because it does not have 4 equal sides. Number 6, parallelogram? Yeah, you're right. It has 2 pair of parallel sides. Rectangle? No, it does not have right angles. Rhombus? Yes, all 4 sides are equal. It is a rhombus. Number 7, is it a quadrilateral? Yes, it has 4 sides. Is it a parallelogram? 2 pair of parallel sides. Yes. Trapezoid? No, it only has 1 pair. It just has 2 pair, not 1 pair of parallel sides. Number 8, is it a rectangle? Yeah, it's got opposite sides are congruent and parallel. It has 4 right angles. Is it a square? Yes, because all 4 sides are equal. Is it a trapezoid? No, because it has 2 pair of parallel sides. Number 19 is a parallelogram. No, it only has 1 set of parallel sides. Is it a rhombus? Absolutely not. Not all 4 sides are equal. Is it a trapezoid? Yes, it is a trapezoid. Number 10, quadrilateral? Yes, 4 sides. Parallelogram? No, no parallel side, no parallel sides. Trapezoid, no parallel sides. Number 11, quadrilateral, yes, has 4 sides. Rhombus, all 4 sides look to be the same, so yes, it's a rhombus. Square, no, because it does not have right angles. 12 is deceiving. These are, in fact, right angles. They don't look like it because the shape is turned. But if I turn that shape to be straight, you'd see these are right angles. So this is a rectangle, it is a rhombus, and it is a square. All right. If you have any questions, come and see me. Go back and look at the video again if you need to. Best of luck to you. See you soon.